are invited.
Unmute.
Yes. Unmute. Now it's okay.
Now I hear, and now I think you hear me. Okay.
Yes, great, great, great. And Joel?
Yeah, I'm here.
Here we are. Good, good, good.
On the road, well, but here.
Great. And there is one more jury member that we are waiting. It's Babban. What is his first name?
Björn.
Björn, yes. Probably, we shall see. But it is one function that I missed to check that you can just directly not need my awaiting my permission, but doesn't matter. Well, welcome. I think that we can start since we have this how can you say begränsat, limited time for this great eve of awarding documentary and short films. I think that we can start with briefly introduction of every single jury member, and we can start at least at the screen. I see first Tanya Stepanov, just to start with hello, just briefly, what are you doing regarding films and things like that, and then Anna, and then Tanja Zoric, and then Joel. Okay, Joel, please.
Thank you, Jelena, and thank you first that you invited me to be a part of your today. My name is Tanja Stepanov. I have been living in Sweden for 5 years, something like that. I'm an economist. So I've been working about 10 years in first as marketing assistant, and then as a coordinator at IT company in Serbia, and here I'm working at the Institute of Internal Auditors in Swedish chapter as event manager.
Yes, and this is also part of our business. So marketing, PR, and things like that are a very huge part of our business. So you're welcome at jury too.
Thank you very much.
Anna?
Yes, okay, hi, I'm Anna Lönn Franko, and I'm a filmmaker and an artist, and also works as a film teacher for kids. And I'm also a member of a film organization called Women in Film and Television. Yes, that's me, and I have to get an adapter because my computer is soon dying, so I will be back.
Back, okay, good, Tanya.
Yeah, bye.
Hello, nice to be here, and I am long time journalist, more than 20 years, and I am in Sweden 8 years, trying to catch up all the network that I can. And at the moment I am working in the biograph. It's like a cinema, like a biomachinist, and all at the same time. And at the same time, of course, I'm observing all the films that I can.
Good. Yes, well, it's a good position to check what's going on in front of the screen. Good. And Joel, please.
Yeah, I hope you hear me well enough. I feel like I'm here like representing the current state of the world physically. Well, my name is Joel Forssell, and I work as a filmmaker in Stockholm, Sweden, working mainly in TV and film, working with, I think you've been caught the logo from the company where I work mainly. And been working with as a screenwriter for a long while, was actually a composer to begin with. But I've been working professionally as a filmmaker for 10 plus years in different capacities. So,
person.
yeah, in general, like stories have always been what draw me in.
Yeah. And one more person is should be with us, but we shall see if it comes. Okay, probably is here. Not yes, no. I have to go. Okay, no. Well, all of you more or less have huge impact or have connection with the films, and this is our 11th film festival, but it's 5th or 6th documentary, since we just how can I say, put together documentary and short film during this short film days, which is today. And today we are screening our 7 or 8 short movies which are now running online for the public, and during this today we are also getting this award possibility to give awards to the best among this which we selected this year. We selected movie on 2 ways. One came through the submission through the film freeway, or we just pick up the movies that we like to have here and promote and show screen in Sweden or Nordic country that we thought they are interesting. Some of them are our previous collaborator, which the filmmaker that already gave us some movie to screen, selected movies before. And actually Anna was also part with us. She's now, this is 2nd time as a jury member, isn't it? And once you were even a guest in Montenegro as a guest from Sweden with her short movie was that, eller hur? Isn't it? Yes, good. So we are collaborating both with all our fellows in the film business, but a new one that we somehow encourage and would like to have in our army of filmmakers. Well, you had a great job to watch these 23 movies. I'm not sure that we need to read this explanation, because it would be just boring part, since it will be published anyhow and people can read it. My idea is to each of you who some kind of voted for some of these movies, just come with their opinion. Okay, this movie was great because some of you like more one or another one, and it will be great just to how can I support that movies that you were like having extra feeling or evaluating little extra for yourself. So we choose the best movie for this festival, both in documentary and short film, but mostly the documentary, since they are 2 documentary long films. It's Neki Novi Broadway, Some New Broadway from 2021, documentary, Republic of Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, 87 minutes, director Denis Bojic. And another one is Ahimsa, documentary from India, 2020, 90 minutes, director Ramesh Sharma. So we can start with the New Broadway. Do we have somebody who can say first some lines? Why is this movie good or best? Joel, I think
or Joel. Sure.
I can say some short things, and you can fill on, Tanya. Well, I think looking it through, it's general like how intimate this story is, how very like much passion is gone into it, and I think as any experience, I think my sound might be breaking up a bit.
We don't hear you, Joel.
Just
maybe Tanya can take for a moment. I think the sound is doing something.
Yeah. Okay. Tanya Stepanov, would you like to say some words?
Yes, you hear me. Yeah. For me, the first association is like, I think it's a full of driving force. When I watched the film, after that I thought, okay, so I didn't know that. I have never been thinking of that. I started to think, what can I do? And it suggests that showing love, it's not just theoretically enough to understand if you not do something. It's not enough with empathy if we just say, yeah, okay, I know that, and that don't do anything further. So it encourages, it's inspirational for me.
Okay.
Really.
Thank you. Joel?
Yeah, so what I was going to say, I'm on a train, so everyone knows kind of why it breaks off a bit. What I think was great with this one is partly like working with a documentary. You usually have to work a lot with people and make people understandable and compassionate, and it's a harsh world where it's easy to take a side. It's easy to sort of get stuck on like an enemy. I think this one makes all those sort of political points like they're not lost in all that. It's still about these people, this group trying to make a difference, and also in their own lives, in their parents' lives. So I think having all those parts play out in such a smooth, interesting, character building way, I think it's it shows both like of good craftsmanship and also just of an important story that needs to be told. Things easily forgotten because we sometimes get comfortable.
Yeah, with.
Yeah,
Thank
I would
you.
also like to say something, if it's okay to jump in, because I also think it's, even though this wasn't my first choice, I choose another one for my first documentary, but it was a short documentary. But it's totally engaging all the time. And it is, as Joel said, it's a very difficult balance to make all the characters, to stay characters during the whole film, because there are different persons, but everybody is a person. They're not just staffage or something in the background. They are real persons. And that's a very, very delicate balance for a documentary filmmaker, actually, to be able to handle this. Because most documentaries is about maybe one or two persons, but here is this group. So it's both the group and the individuals. And that's, I think it's magic that they actually did this. Yeah.
I would like to say this is like a subject that we all can like talk a long time, but I would like to say that it's a very big deal to make some movie on that base, especially in XU parts. I have seen in Sweden they have made like more movies on this subject, but in Serbia, in Bosnia, Croatia, on this small place, I have never seen that they have put like that like nice story into a movie. So I would say that it's a big deal that somebody started to take attention to this very important part of the life.
Thank you. Okay, and the second movie, Ahimsa. Okay, shall we say Anna?
Ahimsa. Yes, I think that for me, Ahimsa was kind of it was an interesting and engaging story, but I think was more traditionally told, and I wasn't actually all that engaged in the Ahimsa story as I was in the Broadway story. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Do we have somebody else to say about Ahimsa?
It's like, sorry.
No, I was basically about to agree a lot with Anna in the sense that I think it's a very well-crafted documentary. It tells an important message. It's also showing how it's like something that's, because it's not a new topic, it's not a new theme, speaking and Gandhi and the peace struggle, the non-violent struggle, but the new thing, I guess, is to show how it's relevant again today and how we see a lot of like similar patterns. But all throughout, it's a very like well done production. Everything is very like professionally, like everyone working on this project is like craftsmen in that sense. But as Anna said, I wasn't caught at such a personal level. It was more like a global thing, which
like idea.
No, it's different. Yeah, it's different for different people. I think that as well. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Yes, I agree with both of you, and I only wanted to say that it's very important to have some aspect of the past, especially for the younger generation, that in a short while they will not remember any of those things. So it is very nice that it's a good production, and it will be, I hope so, paid attention to it. So it's very, very good thinking.
Okay, shall we continue? Then we have short films. I mean short play film, also short fiction. And it's Suspicion Bridge from Taiwan, 10 minutes from Raghu Kondori. And it shares prize with the Ringo rocket star and his song for Yuri Gagarin 2017 from Netherlands and from Serbia. So do we have somebody first to take Suspicious Bridge? Just a few comments.
Yeah, I would say it was an interesting way of telling a story that you didn't understand what was going to happen, because you saw this man in the beginning and the bridge, and then the young man, and then how he actually worked with this young man. And tried to he didn't try to convince him not to take his life, but by using the reverse psychology.
Yeah.
So I think it was a very it was a good story. Yeah. Yes. Thank you.
We had a great Q&A with the director. Then we actually some kind of uncovered or discovered or how we actually thought, because he put this mind stuff in a material world. Then it takes another round. So it was great because he himself is from Persia, but he's living now in Taiwan and things like that. So it puts like a very, very special way of thinking of the how we actually function in some kind of Buddhistic way or something, but it was very good. Tanya and Tanya, some comments.
Yeah, I would like to say that it's very original in this kind of society. It's like, I wouldn't say refreshing, but it's nice to see some other ways of thinking and other cultures that would apply to the situation that is like connecting people and bridge connecting, and very, very nice.
Mm.
This author has succeeded that in a simple way describes the complex problem of suicide, which is unfortunately something that is
Common.
In modern world, especially young people. And do we need the importance of that some kind, in some way, succeed to divert thoughts, and another human beings that can help. So it's not his own decision, but another human being helps him in the end. So yeah.
Okay, and the Ringo Rocket Star, song for Yuri Gagarin. Shall take Joel, since you like that movie.
Yeah, I really liked this one in the sense that it was such a like very on point idea that I feel like they knew, the creators like knew this character so well, knew everything about this, and like could start immediately just like, I'm just gonna make a song, is like among the first lines, and then just starts making a song, and everything moves fast, but it doesn't feel rushed. It just feels like they know what kind of story they're telling, and everything is funny. Everything is like built in a perfect paced way. I mean, I want to see more of this character in general. That's what I felt afterwards. This is just like a beginning thing of something larger. So,
great.
Yeah.
Anna?
Yeah, I think it could have been also a very, very funny animation, because it had those qualities of animated film in a way, because it was so absurdistic, and in a way not as well, because, and also that you do something directly. It's also kind of a way of thinking that creating music and things is something that you do out of the blue, and you don't always do that. It requires, you know, practice and marketing and things like that. But his total joy in doing this was very refreshing, I would say.
Total devotion.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, for the people from the Balkan, it's not that strange idea, because we have watched already Kusturica that has like a similar kind of environment and characters. So it's basically it's like refreshing. It will be nice, of course, to see a little bit more funny aspects of that. It's like we all watch drama. This is so funny.
Okay, and then we have a Nenad as the best short documentary film. It's Bosnia and Herzegovina, 22 minutes, director Mladen Bundalo. That what was interesting, that it was in French. It was in French language from beginning to the end. So what is good in that movie as best short documentary?
Yeah, I will start because this was my favorite actual of the documentaries, because it was also kind of it's very artistically made, and they have a poetic tone, and the kind of also philosophical way of seeing upon time, change, and there was also the nostalgia. And I was really sucked into the film, because also the way he worked with all the film stills and the voices in the background, it created a very, very special feeling when I saw it. It was I really, really liked that one. I would say. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Somebody else? Okay. Then we are going now to Best Animation that shares Svetlosti Senke, Light and Shadows, and the Best Animation 45. The first one is from Serbia, animation in 10 minutes, and second one is from Croatia for 4 minutes and 50 seconds. So I think that Joel was one also who supported this lights and shadows, since it was not the easy part actually, because it's very huge animation and very interesting storytelling.
Yeah. So generally, working a bit with animators and animation, I have such admiration for that job, because it's such a precision thing, and it's so much, you control every detail, which is both these films in general are like master classes in that. I think the thing that sort of strikes you first with In Light and Shadow, I think, is like it's very simple. In the beginning, it's very appealing, and sort of appealing for children, I'd say, in a way, from that. But it's the simplicity is also kind of where it shows its strength, in that it takes like very basic ideas, basic shapes, does very little in a sense of like having throw things on the screen, just shapes and anything, but still makes the story work, makes it interesting, and makes you understand things from very little information at all. And I think that shows the amount of creativity that has to be put into this to tell this story in such a way. Don't need to use the words, and you're making it like this very old kind of retold story still feel like a new thing, a new beast. They made it their own through animation, and I don't think this could be made in any other way than animation either.
Okay, and somebody else? Okay, we can go down to the 45, Creation 1, which is also very, how can I say, bedrar vill jag säga på svenska. Then also it is like magician, very special.
Hypnotizing.
Yeah, like hypnotizing. Yes. Yeah, it's Lucia Oros, and it is actually her examination movie from the Academy, as I understood, in Croatia.
Yeah, I really loved that one because it was also using very kind of subtle and kind of simplicity in the way of animating and actually creating a room where you're starting to see it. You are totally drawn in to this action by the use of sound and those kind of poetic, simplified, I don't mean it in a bad way, but in a very good way, animations.
Okay, then we are going to the woman, best achievement, best woman achievement in this directing, producing, screenwriting. So we choose two movies, Sava, which is like actually a story about one river, huge, the biggest river in former Yugoslavia. It's from Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Serbia movie, 75 minutes, long one, documentary, and it's some kind of dedicated to Mira Furlan, which is more common name of one famous actress from Yugoslavia, former Yugoslavia, and it is her voice that you probably didn't reach exactly, but the people from former Yugoslavia could catch that directly. And the second one is Eureka, one from China and United States, with the director Mida Chu. First with director Matthew Somerville, somebody who is not exactly from Yugoslavia, but find out very interesting approach to reach the same area. So first about Sava, short, briefly.
Za mene bio jako emocionalan film. Ja sam...
Very emotional.
Yes, sorry. I was like completely, like right away back to XU. I am a Yugoslavia lover, and that was very emotional film. For the people that don't know, Yugoslavia was before all these lands, and we learn about Sava and Dunav, Danube, in school. That was like the first thing that we, like the biggest river in Yugoslavia was Sava, and Danube is like the biggest in Europe, blah, blah, blah. All the happenings, like people that live by the river, they represented all of that so nicely and smoothly, and everything was so concise. And in one moment I asked myself why the war happened, and etc., etc. For me, I think I would give the best rewards to that movie, and it's like I can talk about it a long time, but it's like you said, short. So I just I'm full of that emotion, especially voice of Mira Furlan.
Eureka, this one from China.
Yeah, it was like kind of a punch in the stomach. I would say, because it's so ferocious and violent and yet very poetic, and the restrained dialogue and everything lying under, it was kind of a poetic chaos with a very hopeless ending, I would say. Kind of all the inequalities in the world contained in this very and I would say both the photo and the editing was exquisite, and also the actors were perfectly tuned to their tasks. So I really, really loved that film.
They had like an all-fire squad when they were filming that. I was like very interested in that, because the small director had like really strong, as you said, like punch in the stomach, and I don't know, I didn't understand. In Sweden they will say he is hen, born like a man, looking like a woman, very young, and all the things that showed in the film represent him or her itself. So it's very, very, very strong.
Very interesting to be seen from China perspective. You mean like historically, we always think about like West woman, West position and things like that. Does it happen in China? Yeah, yes, it is happening even in China in that time.
Yeah, I knew about Japan and geishas and stuff, but I didn't know that in China was that strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking of the fire because of he or she was born in the year of the dragon.
Yeah,
and probably that was all the fire of the and also that's the dragon is also kind of a symbolic for China.
Yes, it is. We must go further since it tells me here that we have 3 minutes left for this, but let us pass through just briefly. We have a public prize for a jogger. It's one, how can I say, the most interacted movie with the public, since it is like local immigrants from former Yugoslavia during the 70s and till 90s, and it was very relevant since Facebook and everyone, yes, I like that. That's why we choose that for best public prize. Then we have special prizes, but well, we have best editing movie, like Nikos Karaouzos, Poems of the Tape Recorder from 2020. It's Greece one, 100 minutes long one. Yanis Karpouzis is director. So who was one who was like having that movie in mind?
So I'll see if I can get the picture up again. I really liked the Poems on the Tape Recorder, mainly because it was such a like editor's movie in general. Like it's everything about it is just the editors sort of picking pieces, what should be here, what shouldn't be there, and then like building this poem out of pictures basically and pacing it and doing these tiny interesting mistakes, like where intentional mistakes, like a moment where I put in the NK
it was great, like Enko in the beginning,
which was like a precursor for the move to and it's like, of course it's there with an intention, and that makes you curious, why did he pick that? The same way as someone like writes a poem, you're curious, like, why these words, why a mistake here? So yeah, I really think like it shows some great poetic editing right there, and I think that's why I hope it will be like living on as a poem itself.
Great. So we are going down further. Let's see what was next. Yes, it's the best observatory, like documentary, since we have Though the Wind of Glass, 3 acts, Greece, a documentary 2021, directors Christos Barbas. We selected movie just to open this festival, since this year, since Corona is our daily life, which we are like to leave behind us. But anyhow, we cannot just jump over, since it takes our time. It took our time at least last year and this year too.
It's a very important subject, and it's a neglected subject that with or without Corona. So basically, I myself am in that situation that my aunt is in that kind of a facility. So basically, it was at the same time scary to watch and to examine it myself, and the possibility to end up myself there. And it's like really really good thinking, and I think that it deserves like a highest reward, that observational documentary.
We had a Q&A with the director, and it was very living history how it was actually, but we heard a very actually upset story how it ends with this old people afterward. More or less all of them pay, I mean, the person, like adults or seniors, they survived. But the guy who was driving all the job, he did suicide. And it was
I've seen that, and I was wondering if that is true or not, because
it's true, and he is not. After that, he couldn't manage that somehow, and I was like, okay. It was very, very stunning, also history about that. So, some more comments, or we continue? Okay. The best production of the Holocaust. It is like because just best production means a lot of movies had a best production, quite good production level. But the Gabriela, the German with the bicycle, and the Putovanje, the journey. The Gabriela is the German with the bicycle, is from 2021, documentary Greece, 95 minutes, Dominikos Konstantinios Ignatiadis. And the journey, Putovanje, is documentary from Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, director Aleksandra Mitric-Stefanic, 43 minutes. So these two movies got this, like, not to forget this hard stories that was happening also in the last century. Some idea? Now we have Tanya here too.
So I think the Gabriela one for me was generally like a very strong story, like a very personal story, clearly. Another one of those where you feel like there's also an artistry by the director, by Dominikos, creating like a mix of different styles of filmmaking, including himself, but in a way that's not overbearing, like making himself sort of like a mystery character that you see, you hint, and then slowly opening up that door, which I think is also a bravery thing as well, because it's showing, because you always step into, like, if you step into a personal story, you have your bias, you have your own perspective, but I feel like did a good job in keeping his mother's story and like trying to keep it in the middle, not saying she was a saint, not saying she was the devil, just giving, like, this was her path, her journey, and adding it, the twinkles and like the colors of his own kind of artistry, and including like the more poetic scenes and the musical scenes of singing and things like that. I think it's built strongly on nostalgia in many ways, and I think I'm interested to see what he continues to create as a director in general.
After. Okay, then we go to the journey. Putovanje is the same one from also Bosnia and Herzegovina. It's like made for the youth, for the young generation.
Yeah.
Some thoughts?
It's. I think it's very good that we have another film with this important theme, as I don't know, Anna or Tanya said, that new generations are coming. They maybe don't have enough information what that happened, and it's good that it communicates with younger generation with their words and
yeah. I mean, it's a director's own history, since Alexandra is also director for the one festival in Sarajevo. So we know each other, and I was so surprised that she actually take part and made one movie by her own, and this history was like a hidden behind her. It was interesting to see. Okay, the best music like award or movie with the best music is Cave from 2021, documentary, North Macedonia, 94 minutes, Blaže Dulev. And the second one is Protest from Karies Land, documentary from 21, Bosnia and Herzegovina, 84 minutes, director Damir Piric, Ogorčin Zec. So do we have somebody to say something?
Punk is not dead.
Okay, the first one, yes.
I think the first one, the cave, was very interesting with all with the music style that had so many influences from the region and from different kinds of both cultures and nationalities, and they built, and the harmonies with the half, the quarter tones and things like that has very influential from for example both klezmer and Arabic music. So I think and very very good musicians that really showed what you could do with it. So it was interesting in that sense.
About cave.
Yep, cave.
No. Best location, it's the young man who was also fired. It's from Albania. What do you think about that movie?
Very interesting. Very interesting story, and it's like relationships inside of the family. So like surprisingly, I was surprised actually that it's like from Albania. So I never saw any movie actually from Albania before. So.
So it is the movie The Young Man Who Was Also Fired, 2021, short movie Albania, 9 minutes and 41 seconds. Director Martin Oliveros Heinze. It is also one movie for the young generation, and it's interesting to see how we relate to the adults. It was actually that's my idea. What are they doing? And the Björn, I think he was one who was struggling for this movie, explaining like location, the picturing our inside, how can I say, world. So it was like his mention about this movie. So, and then we are back to the next. It's like best newcomer, young filmmaker, and it was film Being a Dog, 2020, animated, Sweden, 8 minutes and 3 seconds. Director Felix Swan, and he was also guest because he was on the opening EVE, so we have a conversation with the director. So, do we have some idea? Joel?
Yeah, I think it was very. Partly I was immediately hit by the aesthetic of it. It was very clearly like a person with, I think, an emerging style, because I don't know his age or anything, but I felt like this is a style in information. You're starting to see this sort of kind of Tim Burton-esque kind of like grayish noir style. And it's interesting to see also how fluid, like sort of having the frames not being perfectly matched, having that sort of discomfort come through the animation just like by the picture being that way. I think to see what he will make continually from this, and from what I understand from you, Jelena, this is also a very personal film for him as well. I think he communicates a lot of this character's emotional sort of struggle without really saying too much about the details. I think the main details became the conversation between him and the girl, but I think it's giving you like the mental state through pictures, which is interesting, and I think it's a good sign of someone talking through animation.
Anna, since you are one who is working a lot with animation.
Yes, no, I also thought it was the kind of, it was both funny and seemed sometimes a little bit ironic as well, and dark. And I also like the darkness of it, and also kind of absurdic situations, and the transformational style of working with animation, using all the crafts of animation, because you can actually transform things into another thing. So when he changed from a dog, from a dog to a human and back to a dog, so I think it was a funny short film.
Okay.
I like it as well.
Tanya and Tanya, something.
Yeah, I met the author, and he was like, he said that he saw himself as a dog, so that's why it's like
Yes,
a dog represents him in the movie. So basically, he did put like how he feels in the animation, and it turned out very well. So I hope that he will continue to express himself in this way.
Probably it's important to say even that this director has actually, he's autistic, young guy, and he's using actually animation that somebody find out, even if we are talking, that he's finding the way to express actually his own emotion, feeling, statement, everything. It is inside of the movie. So it was very, very interesting because he was, he's young, he's doing his 3rd or 4th movie, and this is one of his latest one. And he was our guest, and we were talking a lot, and he was very happy about that. So yes, I think that this story is very important he find his way to express himself. Well, thank you so much. So we have Tanja Zoric, Forssell, then Lönn Franko, Björn, who is not with us, and Tanya Stepanov as a jury member. So it is our winning movies. I would like to thank you a lot for the participation and watching this movie. I think that you enjoyed also,
Yes.
at least inspiring, having some kind of inspiration. So thank you a lot.
I actually would say it's very nice always to be, no, this is my 2nd time, but it's so nice also to see the films, and I really enjoy it. This year I didn't have all that much time though, but it's always nice to also get the diversity and films from other places than from the West Europe or the States. So I really think it's good and enjoyable to be here.
Yeah, I agree to that part, being like very much exposed to a lot of Western, and if either like you see from the US or Europe or some further like East Asia and stuff like that, but you kind of miss the things there in between, and seeing this and getting that perspective, I think is really important, because it's a global world, and we have like so many more stories to tell than just these same old like Western European ones.
So, well, Balkan, I feel like, some kind of meeting point. So I use this perspective where we are talking about Balkans. Yes, it's a meeting point between West and East. So we have all right to screen around the world, and having the right to have like Balkan subject, since
Yes,
more or less everybody is crossing. Yeah.
And saying like global and stuff. I'm a little bit sad because Good Girl didn't get any reward, because I think it's very refreshing to see that the whole crew is the women, like female, completely female done. So female crew didn't get.
Well, yes, I heard
those who like horrors will be very satisfied.
Well, if we decide now to give award, then we can do that, like a special for the woman participation too, since we are having now a boarding meeting too. If we can.
No, I think it's very nice, and it's short. It's like it has like all elements that are needed, and it's very good production and all talented girls.
Me too, I am.
Okay, then we have 2 voices. What we'll say with this second tube? Shall we give some prize for that movie too?
Yeah, why not best team, female team? I don't know.
Like a special prize.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Tanya, are you agree? Tanya Stepanov?
I completely agree.
Okay, then the good girl will also get, since this is open EVA, like awarding EVE, so we are having even meeting with jury. We just put together all this awarding part.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great holiday times, and well, keep on working. Probably some of you will be called again to be part of our jury in a fiction or in a documentary and short film. So keep in contact.
Yeah.
If you don't count with your own movies, we are waiting your own movies. Sure. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome. Take care, guys. Bye.
All best.